There are constant predictions of China's economy collapsing. You have pushed against that narrative. What? But you've also spoken to some of the challenges it's going through. What's the GDP going to look like? Is the Chinese economy going to collapse? Is it going to flourish? What do you think?
Collapse is such a strong word, and the West has been using this word repeatedly. If I remember correctly, maybe 4 to 5 times, maybe even 6 times since 1980s during the period of China's fastest growth. I tend to not think that Chinese economy will collapse, but will the slowdown continue? Will it be able to lift up again? Will it be able to come out of this cycle soon? I think that's more relevant. And the Chinese economy has a lot of potential because the fundamentals are still there. Right. When we talk about the fundamentals, it's the skills, it's the human capital, it's the physical capital, it's the macroeconomic stability and political stability. That's a lot going for a country if you look around the world right now, right? And this is why the entrepreneurialism is still there because the fundamentals are there, even though the economy is weak, consumers are not confident, and private investment is insufficient. The fundamentals are there. Is China where it should be? Far, far, far from it because China's potential based on the fundamentals is a much higher level of per capita income than where it is currently. It's kind of currently in a $10,000 bracket. And this is also a puzzle because you're a $10,000 per capita income country that can actually do leading edge technology and can be neck to neck with US companies on these high tech. That's the first time in history. Even the Soviet Union, which was very technologically advanced, did not have the extent of commercializable civilian technology and the technologies that were pervasive throughout the economy. But fundamentally, we have to understand how much of this real estate crisis has impinged on the economy and explains the persistent slowdown.
Can you explain the real estate crisis?
A few years ago, uh, there was a crackdown on the real estate sector. And again, it comes back to a lot of the social issues we were discussing. Why aren't people having kids? Well, maybe it's because housing is too expensive. Maybe it's because education system is too competitive. The speculative bubbles in the real estate is making housing unaffordable, and that's not part of the Chinese social characteristics, right? Um, and so when they decided that the property investors were going to be reined in, that housing was to be lived in, not speculated, it really brought down the whole sector in terms of investment, in terms of the financing of the sector. But ultimately, it made such a massive impact or such a massive dent on the economy because it really embodied the two fundamental pillars of the economy. One is the fiscal system, and one is a financial system. So coming back to our local mayor economy, where did you think the local mayors got their funds? Right, through real estate. They sold land. Real estate property developers came in. They can develop the entire local economy because the services will come in, the jobs will come in. And by the way, you're an equity owner of the entire city. So you want these property developers around. Um, Many countries throughout history all have this property transition, right? You need to wean the economy off of property. In a good situation, it takes 3 to 5 years. In a bad situation, it can take 10 years. I don't know where China belongs currently, but the real estate collapse also meant the local finances, local government finances also shrunk dramatically. Real estate was a really important part of the financial industry. It brought that down. So together, it really had a major impact on the economy, but also from the consumer side, their wealth was primarily tied into real estate. Not the stock market, not other kind of investment opportunities. It was real estate. So they felt poor, they consumed less.